All right. Well, all I saw was divine setup, and someone in someone's family took the bait. So I just figured before I watch it, we'd go ahead and do some clarity, because I want to match the divine energies before I watch it. And have a little talk about some of this. First, because I mean, when I hear divine setup, the first thing I think about is transcending consciousness with the Buddha. That's basically going to source. You hear star seeds, I want to go home. Well, transcending consciousness with the Buddha, which is a class I took with a self-proclaimed award winner, whatever. I know in that situation, the teacher takes on the karma of the student, and that's where you've got a lot of this narcissistic energy coming from. However, I'm not concerned with that. What I'm concerned with is angel therapy and some of the readers talking about global disaster. Now, by promoting some of these readers, they've changed their stories, and that's fine. I understand they're hurting for cash. However, what I can do is take the things that they say at face value, because if we're talking about Reiki, Ray, Universal, Key, Life Force Energy, and then they say Pisces, Spirit sees your strength. I don't think people realize just how important your energy is to the well-being of all. Well, okay, we did find Reiki in my birth chart, and you guys are more than welcome to go and do that study if you want to. Now, in the last reading with someone I trust, and I mean, I don't mind telling you because I know how diehard truth teller they are and what it is. And I mean, I use the Hillary Clinton model. I use the Hillary Clinton model of emails only, just so it is, because I have no problem sharing my shit. So, however, let's talk about what we know. If we know it has came out in the cards, they used Greece. Okay, that's a country. They used Greece to do spiritual work, harvesting the divine feminine energy. So if they did spiritual work from Greece, and I think y'all have mentioned Haiti. Now, I do have connections to Germany, to Russia, to the Philippines. I mean, I've talked with some people from China, but it's just what it is. However, Japan, certainly, because Reiki is a complementary healing modality from the land of the immortals in Okinawa. So you do have a lot of that immortal energy in the cards. So, if we're looking at something cosmic or a divine setup on a global level, and you ladies are talking about man-made disaster, global disaster, weather manipulation, things of that nature. And I mean, I know we have Reiki for reptilian removal. So, and it is, I mean, that's just basically monsters that don't care who they hurt. So, that's what it is. And we want to dig in. Thank you, Trump. Thank you, Donald Trump. That would be your Gemini love energy. And you did. I mean, matching the frequency or the vibration of attempted assassination. It's what it is. That matches, if you have a spiritual title, master, you ladies are saying ascended fire and water master in the flesh. It's what it is. It's energy. It's universal life force energy. I'm telling you. The best feeling on this planet is hearing what's the Chatterlarasha say. Ra is on foot in Texas chasing demons. Now, at that time, I was working security. You get a lot of that security energy. I decided to work security. I was stuck in Austin. I got the smell of people that were running around and just kind of poisoning people out in the audience. And wouldn't you know, it didn't happen at that event. Was that those people? Who knows? I smell death and I chase it. It's just what it is. Anyway, working the artist lounge and being able to see through people's forms, it brought a lot of enlightenment. It was on my other channel. Now, blessing the crowd versus harvesting energy. I knew that if they hold these concerts or rituals or whatever they do and they're harvesting energy, well, an INFJ can just go and blend in with the crowd. Thank you for that. Thank you, officer. I appreciate that. Thank you, officer. Yeah, you always get your financial advice from cops because they certainly don't want to lose their shit in America. So, that's what it is. Anyway. Yeah, it's a lot bigger than any of us can really fathom, because you got to think, if they were going to Greece and going to all of these spiritual retreats and doing spiritual work, and it's a spiritual war, and it has nothing to do with flesh and blood, it's on a soul level. So if you're talking about and it's what it is. I mean, when I'm telling you how I was able to get my Leo rising connection to the Most High, that rising phoenix from the ashes energy that you girls keep talking about, that die-hard faith in the divine, because the connection, I mean, it's very simple. You take the class. I mean, that's the method we use to manifest. You take the class, and when you get to the place where all the stars say, I want to go home, the same place I get you to in QHHT, where the overwhelming feeling of love fills the air. I just dropped the choke-array symbol on it. And thank you, Pushing Up Daisy. Pinch myself. NLP lock that in so I know what bliss feels like. And I just remember that moment. So it instantly raises my vibration. Puts me in a consciously unconscious state of mind using the 3-2-1 method. Building my energetic shield using Hemi-Sync, CIA technique. That's what it is. Use various different techniques. While they were out there running around paying different spiritual practitioners to stop an individual, well, I was investing in different ones to see what their techniques were like. So now if they were harvesting energy and now it has caused a global disaster, because I agree, it's universal life force energy that they attacked with witchcraft, black magic, energy manipulation, voodoo, whatever. Who knows what the divine is setting up in this situation with the 3 fates and judgment. Thank you, Azrael. That's what it is. Who knows what it's setting up? I dropped the choke-array symbol in the class when I transcended consciousness with the Buddha. I took the class, paid for the class, used my own technique during the session. And now you've got readers out there talking about Pisces has downloads coming directly from the divine. Okay, well, what does that mean? They're doing everything they can to stop it? Who? The devil? The devil doing everything they can to stop the divine? Is that what it is? Here's where the global disaster part comes in. What you want for someone else is what you want for yourself. So are you telling me that you have doomsday cults, unalive cults, covens, whatever you want to call it, have now got together and went out and projected no success on the divine? Okay, well, how's the divine going to return that globally? It's a divine setup? Cool. Is humans have a great reset in mind? How do you know the divine doesn't have a great reset in mind? Mic drop. Let's find out, shall we? Think about that. You can't have multiple readers talking about global man-made disaster with spiritual narcissists cashing in on the spiritual community, running around paying practitioners to do black magic, whatever, sex cults, whatever. towards the divine. Cool. The Namaste means the divine center in me sees the divine center in you. And when I am grounded in that center in me, and you were grounded in that center in you, in that moment we are one, and I bow to you. Yet you have readers say, the Empress doesn't bow to anyone. No, I bow to you. Namaste. So now you have outside influence casting hexes, curses on the divine. Was that not going to affect the divine and the planet? Everyone? Wouldn't it? They say, Pisces, you don't understand how important your energy is to the well-being of all. Yes, I agree with that. It's universal life force energy. So if they're casting, we want a universal life force energy to fail, what's going to happen to universal life force energy on this planet? Are planes going to fall out of the sky? You going to run out of water in New Mexico? Are fires going to break out in the City of Angels? Follow the signs. Large groups of people are in deep regret for playing a game with the divine. Well, what does that mean? What does that mean? You have people of authority that are seeing through the illusion and can tell what's going on. Fantastic. Where am I wrong? Just let me know. God is all that is. Angels, archangels, ascended masters, divine white light has to be a clear and infinite channel for your wisdom at this time. For myself as well as those I do readings for. Namaste. So I'm calling energy back. Have no idea where it's coming from. They had a year to harvest it. And at the end of a reading from someone I trust that I know isn't taking bribes. They don't have all the bells and whistles. They're doing their best to get by with their gifts. You promote the others, and there you see all this new shit, and that's what it is. So it is certainly not coming from their following. It's coming from promoting them, and when you promote them, you know that they're going to come in. Oh, he watches that person. We'll go get them and create and then they have the opposite of what you're truly agreeing with. So yes, the sun energy is very significant. Jupiter, that's what's hidden behind the moon. I said that in another reading. It's just what it is. However, universal life force energy, well, I would say that's life force energy in the universe. I'd say that's pretty significant and important to the well-being of all. And you have people wishing that to fail. I pray that fail. Okay, cool. What you want for another is what you want for yourself. Reiki stands for universal life force energy. So you're trying to fail the life force energy of the entire universe? Well, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. If anything else, I would say that's creating an allergic reaction like raid on these people. That's what it is. The light comes on, the roaches run. Cool. It's like the energy is seeking, and that's what they want. They want the universal life force energy to fail. They just didn't know it'd be their own. God is all it is. Angels, archangels, ascended masters, divine white light has to be a clear and infinite channel for your wisdom at this time for myself as well as those I do readings for. Namaste. That's what it is. I'm using Kundalini fire to clear out all this negative energy. I'm throwing that back to get rid of it. I don't need it in my field. They project more, trying to dim Pisces light, trying to cover up the sun. Cool. Trying to cover up the sun? What's going to happen? Who would want to cover up the sun? Be careful what you wish for. The energy is just a little bit of everywhere. That's what it is. You can't have these people going to spiritual retreats, eating peyote and mushrooms and shit, doing God knows what with a shaman to attack universal life force energy and not expect a bad divine setup and judgment as the outcome. The three fates, that's Spinner, Alauder, and Inflexible. Those are the daughters of Ra. Can't have it come out in multiple readings. Those readers don't sit back and watch each other, and they certainly don't come out in their readings at the same time. That's what it is. The energy never lies. Thank you, Spirit. Spirit will show you who to trust. Certainly will. Certainly will. So it looks like the energy is just a little bit everywhere. Divine setup, well, yeah. I mean, if you're talking about divine white light, universal life force energy, a Reiki shield, an INFJ shield, a Pleiadian Masters light Merkaba, a diamond white Reiki Merkaba, it doesn't care what you label it. It's limited by your imagination. Use your imagination. It's limited by your imagination. I call it the INFJ shield. All those other words I just spit out mean INFJ shield to me, taught by MBTI counselor Scott Morgan. It's just what it is. Left brain, right brain, subconscious mind. That's what it is. So let's find out what this divine setup's all about. My card's in the right? No, thank you. We'll flip that around. Current situation is, emotions. Are we using Reiki for our emotions? It's just what it is. Are we focusing on the divine center within each other? Or are we trying to... We don't want the divine to succeed. Oh no, I'm getting sick. Oh no. Black magic. No love. Reiki is love's intent to help or heal. They have absolutely no love? Cool. Then it's being... The universe gives you what you want. It doesn't care. It loves you unconditionally. It gives you what you want. I have no love for the divine. Cool. You have no love for the divine in you. We're not going to fight that. It's just what it is. Everybody's waiting to see how this is going to pan out. Looks like it panned out in global disaster. Nurtured the wrong things spiritually. Imagine that. Spiritual war, and now spirits are involved. Here's my card. Higher consciousness moving forward. Yep. Women who can't teach you anything. Gold diggers, clout chasers, out for that dollar when spirit is involved. Now they're losing their gifts. They're losing their spiritual clout. There's what it is. Can't do anything about that. They took the devil's bait. Intuition. That's what it is. So women who can't teach you anything about intuition have been running the show. Good job, ladies. Good job. Do I need a card on the end? No. Cool. We'll go underneath this black magic. Karmics. Look at that. Distance yourself from these black magic karmics. What's under no love? No harmony and balance. Imagine that globally. We got a global disaster. Is that true, ladies? A universal life force energy global disaster? Not going to fight that in the spirit. They're getting what they want. It's a reflection of what they want. They're telling the mirror what they want. And the mirror is giving them the reflection of what they presented. Nurtured the wrong thing, brought our power back, didn't it? Look at that. Nurtured the wrong thing, you get your power back with emotional balance. What's underneath higher consciousness? Manifestation. We manifested higher consciousness. Amazing how that works. What is the downfall? If they project, we want the divine to fail. The divine in them is going to fail. Namaste. Master says so. You've got women in the spiritual community that want nothing more than another dollar, and you got the master supporting them. Imagine that. What's underneath this intuition? Men who didn't think. That's what it is. They wanted the trophy wife. Cool. What did the trophy wife get them? Global disaster? Oh, no. Oh, no. Well, she looks good on film. Great. How does that look in the ethers? It looks like karmics are over top of not meditating. Use black magic as karmics and don't meditate. Do we ever find out who did the crown work on that bodhisattva, on that earth angel? Does it look like an earth angel? What's an earth angel supposed to look like? What does the bodhisattva look like? Now you have global disaster, man-made global disaster in the cards. Congratulations. Spirit has no love for that or harmony and balance for you. We're removing that negative energy. So they get exactly what they ask for. We want universal life force energy to fail. Oh God, my universal life force energy is failing. Aww. We're not fighting that. Just stand in your ego. We got no gratitude for that. That's what it is. They're mad. They don't know what to do. We don't know what to do either. They nurtured the wrong thing spiritually. We're taking our power back. You got a friend in me. I could always not tell you. That's what it is. As soon as I hear a reader say, I don't know what's going on here. Does it revolve around the sun? Chances are Pisces sun's going to know. Does it revolve around Leo rising? I bet I'm right in the middle of that shit. Does it go all the way to the Gemini moon? Uh-oh. Sounds like it's got something to do with the Master's manifestation. That's what it is. What is supporting these manifestations? Higher consciousness? INFJ women, the underdogs, 1 to 2% of the human population. Atlantis Morissette, God coming out in the end of dogma, right out the church. Ah! That's what it is. Higher consciousness manifested feminine intuition, right? Women who couldn't teach you anything spiritually over top of the master, that was a bad investment. They initiated or attuned into the wrong thing. And now you girls are telling me that they're getting sick? Ooh, I'm so sorry. We can't worry about sick women when we got planes falling out the sky. Y'all said man-made global disaster. That's way bigger than any woman that wants the divine life force energy to fail. And now it's failing in them? Oh no. Looks like intuition over top of masculines that didn't think about what they were doing. Didn't even plant the right seed. This is a chance to grow or not. This is no chance. The seed was never even planted. The seed was never even planted. So, basically wanting reward without effort. They want to eat. They want to eat the apples. They want to eat the oranges. They want to eat the potatoes, but they never planted the fruit. They want to eat all these things, but they never planted any of it. That's what it is. They don't even have a crop. They don't even have a crop to go and pick from because the shit was never grown. It was never planted. Never planted to grow. Now, granted, if they're harvesting the feminine energy and they're creating things, okay, cool. They didn't have consent to do that. So we're calling that energy back. Cool. It's just that's the Monsanto seed falling off in the farmer's crop. Well, looks like we got a patent on that. That's mine. It goes back to the source. I'm sure the government can understand that. Meditation's upside down and no compassion for that. That's what it is. They went up against the divine and the divine wins. God always wins. Period. God always wins. Period. Always in charge. Period. Universal law always wins. Love always wins. Always wins. No matter what. Right? Spiritually, they had no love. They're all out of harmony and balance. Cool. We're removing that negative energy from the dark hearts. Their heart chakra's closed. That's what it is. They wanted to block your heart chakra and ended up blocking their own. Oh no. Wanted to block your third eye and block their own. That's what it is. Got no gratitude for that nonsense and they're losing all their wealth. Imagine spirit's not fighting bunch of people in their egos with no gratitude and no money. That's what it is. They're trying to win at all costs. At what? Against the divine? 15% is going to be humans. That's what it is. So they nurtured the wrong thing spiritually. We're taking our power back. It's you got a friend in me. What's supporting that? Failures. That's what it is. We have no compassion for people who didn't put their heart into the right thing, wasted all of their money to fail underneath a friend. Imagine that. Women are in the upright. Cool. So's their health. Look at that. Look at that, healers. Look at that. The healers, health underneath the feminine energies for manifestation of higher consciousness. Imagine that. Sounds like women who couldn't teach you anything spiritually were all over top of the master, initiating or tuning into the wrong thing, and now they're worried? I bet they are. I would assume that's called a divine setup for a reason. That's what it is. What you want for another is what you want for yourself. Cool. You're talking about a Reiki master, universal life force energy. They went up against universal life force energy, wanting it to fail, and it's going back on them, making sure they fail, giving them what they want. On a global level, They don't know how they're going to fix it. It's in the divine's hands at this point. Intuition's on point. Masculines are not. The predominant men in this situation, right in front of the master, fucking, they don't know what to do. Fucking, they didn't plant the seeds, but we got an energy exchange in the upright. Look at that. What's our final outcome in the 5D? Top row's the 5D, moving down through time and space into the 3D. What did we say we did in the 5D? Connected with the Buddha to the higher consciousness? Yeah, look at that, changing consciousness. How you like that? How you like those downloads? The change in consciousness card. We transcended consciousness to the Buddha and dropped the chokeray. Yep, spiritually we had a change in consciousness. Fueled by intuition classes. Amazing how that works. Look how those cards came right out side by side. Intuition changed the consciousness. Transcended to the Buddha. Look at that. What's underneath this change in consciousness? A bunch of fucking lies. Imagine that. Imagine that. They certainly don't want the truth to come out about the divine and about them being fallen ill because they didn't want universal life force energy to win. Cool. So the universal life force energy in them isn't winning. It's just not. Yeah, their prayers have not been answered. It's what it is. What is the final outcome? Families in the upright. So I guess if you want a happy, healthy family, you gotta hope that the universal life force energy is succeeding like a mother. What is that? If universal life force energy ain't happy, ain't nobody happy? Think about that. That's what it is. I can't do anything about that. Can't do anything about that. Well, you got global disaster in the cards. Great. We've got the internet has connected us all. You've got plenty of Reiki masters out there putting energy out into the collective. Cool. Me being attuned, I'm connected to the whole, and they're trying to make that fail. Cool. That makes the whole system fail. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. That's what it is. What you want for another is what you want for yourself. You have a healer that is connected to the all that is. When you want that healer to fail, you want the all that is to fail. Whether it be my connection to the higher self through QHHT, whether it be my connection to the higher self through Reiki, whether it be my connection to the higher self through tarot. That's what it is. And now you've got it all over the cards. And we know they went to these spiritual retreats because they only care about themselves. They don't care who they hurt. We want that individual to fail that's connected to universal life force energy. Cool. If universal life force energy fails in me, it looks like it fails in you too, doesn't it? I don't know. You tell me. Let me go see what the divine setup is. Namaste.